It is always a good thing, in my opinion, when our video schedule gets rearranged due to the release of our real-life hunting content. Finally here in July, the 2021 season has premiered on YouTube. If you missed that video yesterday, it's available here on this channel, and because of that, I wanted to come here to Whiteheart Island. Of course, our main goal in the Hunter Classic as far as trophies go is to look for a 400 elk, and we've been doing that primarily on Red Feather Falls and Stettler Creeks, but because at least southern Whiteheart Island, this area down here, is the most similar area in the Hunter Classic to where I hunt here in PA, I thought we'd come here and kind of see how it does, and I'm actually quite interested to see how we do here. I generally have considered Whiteheart Island not as good since bobcats got added for whitetail, that being our main purpose for the last, basically 10 years, looking for a 200. I want to see how it goes when we focus on elk. That's just not something we've really done at all in quite some time. Now, we will still be targeting whitetail on this hunt, for one because non-typicals and rares are still cool, and I wouldn't exactly turn down a chance at a second 200, but the other reason is the cableback bow. We are approximately 400 kills into trying to get to 1,000 with that. It's obviously slowed down a good bit between not being able to play with the old PC and stuff like that, but whitetail, I would say, generally are easier to bring down than elk, so that's going to be another way to rack up kills. So it may not be the most impressive buck, probably he'll be lucky if he even gets above 40, but he counts the same towards our kill count as a 180, 43.5 score. Hopefully that'll be the smallest we see today, and I probably should explain as well, I'm not trying to do a, I guess, realistic style hunt or hunting like I would here in PA. I just saw it as an opportunity to come here to Whiteheart Island and kind of connect it to the real life hunting content and just hunt a map that really we don't go on that much anymore. Our first group of elk of the day is not looking a whole lot better than our first buck. 3 smaller bulls. There's 1 cow over there on the left, and I don't know if there is a 5th one. I know that with the change of the herds, you get a lot more bulls and cows mixed. I don't know if they changed the numbers, like if you still normally get 5 every time or not. That's not something I've paid a ton of attention to, but we definitely are going to want to take the biggest bull here in the front. It's always tough, I find, from a tower to use the cableback bow. If we can get a spine shot, that's essentially what I want to do. Spine 1 is an insta-kill. Spine 2 and 3 are, you get that animation where they lay down and you have to either wait it out or dispatch them, but if we can do like that, straight down into the spine and into a lung, that is just an insta drop as good as a neck or heart shot. 164, I guess a whole lot better than a 43 scoring whitetail. And we'll just continue our way through here. We are going to go to the northern island as well. Maybe I should also mention that we're not staying on the southern island. I just wanted to kind of start here, and I think generally there are more elk on the northern island. It's a bigger area anyway, so for our purposes it would just make sense. Perhaps slowly moving in the right direction, although very slowly. 55 to 80 on this buck, but again, he counts just the same as a big one for the cableback bow harvest. We'll take that and just kind of keep moving along here. We only are, 200 meters barely from where we got the elk. One of the other elk that was there actually just took off when we took that shot. 59.9998 for that guy. Couldn't quite crack 60, but a little improvement over the first. I totally forgot. There are new fur types in Classic, and that is one of the new ones for the coyotes. I don't even know what it's called, but it's kind of a reddish color. We actually entered a coyote competition. Now, that particular one is not going to help us. The coyote comp is, I think, the highest average of your top 3, maybe in weight. So, in all likelihood, we're not going to place in that one. If we were to get like a really early on big coyote, then we consider it more. But I'm hoping that got into a lung or something. All I had was the 223, but we haven't gotten to check out any of those new fur types. I think it's coyotes, ptarmigan. There was one other species as well that got new furs. That actually looks to be a pretty decent bobcat. It only goes up to 25 kg. Now, the main reason I'm interested in that is that we also entered a bobcat competition, that one being for the heaviest bobcat. There's no average, no needing 3 harvests, just the heaviest one you can get. First place right now, I think, is 24, so there's maybe some potential here. We'll try to get a quick shot at that. By the way, The coyote was a body hit, but the health was going down pretty good. I thought that we would have found it by now, but I guess maybe we spooked it and it kind of continued running. I'm hoping to go and recover that and get to look at that. Also, it's probably worth noting there are 2 species I missed. With the new furs, there are new furs for bighorn sheep and gray wolf as well. And when I said ptarmigan, it is willow ptarmigan and whitetail ptarmigan, so lots of new stuff with new furs and plumage types, but hopefully we get to go and see that coyote somewhat soon. As for the bobcat, maybe something we could be getting a competition trophy for. They are scored by their skull, but of course a heavy bobcat's more likely to have a bigger skull, 20 kg. I don't think that's quite big enough to place top 3. In fact, that's got us in 5th for now, so not going to be anything special there competition-wise. Hopefully though, maybe kind of straying away from the coyote tracks gave it time to go down. Maybe if we're lucky, shot number 2 might do a little bit better, and I could not have predicted that we'd be taking a second shot. When we got to the blood, there was, on the health percentage, I think 30 to 50% was the last track, and generally as a rule of thumb, if you see the health go below 50%, you do tend to recover the animal, but it ended up calling again. This time we're able to bring it down. Now of course the rarity still does say common. I can't remember what they called this. I can probably go and look in the little update briefing they gave, but that's our first one for the new fur type, so we'll take a quick picture of that. Not a whole lot of light to work with, but that'll do, especially for a female. Now, they described it, they didn't really give it a name, they just said it's a bit brownish. I see that as more of like a red-brown, but either way, when there is no real name for it, I guess it doesn't matter that much what we see it as, but I do think that is really important. That's been a big thing in the last couple of months, getting new fur types, and I like the variety that it adds to the game. There is another one as well, there's like a black antenna, I think they called it, which, if I had to guess, probably is going to cause a lot of confusion about potential melanistics, at least at first glance, but I don't know, the variety in the packs I think is going to be good, especially for a species that travels in groups like that. It's only going to make it more realistic to see the different colors. Now finally, after all that, kinda back on task with looking for elk, unfortunately not improving a whole lot. 160 to 205 though, I think that does guarantee we do improve a bit, because if I'm not mistaken the last was like 159. We are also quickly, because everything is going to scatter. Well, if we had any ammo, we would have. I guess I didn't even bring more than 1 round for the 223, or 2, as the case may have been since we shot the coyotes. I've wanted to get one of those turkeys that went up to 65, at least none maxed at 75, because that would have been a bit unfortunate. The good news is we did just fast travel, so we can grab more 223 ammo after that. But a 171 score, adding another cableback harvest and another elk to our totals. But unfortunately didn't get to throw the turkey in there too. Finally we get to see at least a decent elk, and I mean 275 to 325 isn't exactly huge, but in comparison to what I saw coming in first, cows and some pretty small bulls, that definitely is a welcome sight. There's one in here somewhere that maxed at like 60 or something like that. I wouldn't have minded trying to get him, but looks like, oh there he is. We'll see what the estimate was on that. It's 35 to 80, but I'd say we better take that guy. We might have a chance at getting both, because it's looking like we're going to have to go 308 here. I just don't think we're going to get a reasonably decent shot at the bigger one. So the reload time for the 308's fairly long. I'm guessing we won't get both, but we'll kind of see what happens. Try to line that up to get a hard shot. And I mean, considering he went left, I don't think we're getting a shot at that one, but just nice to see a bigger frame on one of these guys. I've been thinking as we were going along, what we've lacked, at least to this point, in quality, we've kind of made up for in variety. I want to say elk, whitetail, coyote, bobcat, and it should have been turkey if we had the 223 loaded. That was a straight hard shot from the 308, 312. I mean, not bad, not exactly special, but so far the best kill by a long shot. Kinda tough to get a decent trophy shot. We might just go with that. I wish the character was looking up a bit more. Maybe if we chose a different pose, that's actually not too bad. Don't have to adjust anything, it's just the only way to get most of the elk in frame and also have the sunlight on him is kind of to go with this angle, so we'll go with that. First kind of decent kill. We are almost exactly 2 hours in to this hunt, and 7 harvests so far. So hopefully things kind of pick up from here. I wanted to go and visit this field, which we may have just cleared out by firing a gun, and then I was going to head over to the golden tree stand for a bit and see if anything would come in there, but nice to see some size on something. We're now on to what I would call the last leg of this hunt, kind of checking out the northern area, and I feel like there aren't as many elk up here as there used to be, but I still wanted to give it a look and see if we could find anything, and in the meantime, when a blacktail buck calls out, especially nearing 3 hours into the hunt, I figure it's worth checking it out. You never know what's going to have moved around the map in that amount of time, but just a smaller one. I have no idea how we got a neck shot on that, but no complaints, got the insta drop, and at least, even though he's lower scoring at 113, the CSS for Blacktail being 63.8 on one that size, it's a nice little GM reward as we continue through, but I'm kind of thinking probably we'll get to around this tower, and that'll probably be where we wrap up. All I can say is, thank goodness we're not doing a whitetail hunt. 75 to 100 being the biggest whitetail buck we've seen, but something just spooked beside us, and I don't know what that was about. We have a pretty heavy elk track just back there behind us, up to 480 kg. It is an hour old, which is why I wanted to go ahead and take that shot with the 308, because there's a good chance we have a long track ahead of us, but maybe a change of plans. We can try to find that elk, and wherever that may lead us to, that same tower I circled or not, that could be our kind of final destination for this hunt. 81 score on that guy. Didn't even get close to topping 100 on a buck, but at least that makes it quick. We can jump on this track and try to figure out where he got to. In what was probably the most predictable event of the hunt, we ended up spooking the elk with our shot at the whitetail. He was really not that far away despite the hour-old track, but for a elk that's somewhere between 450 and 480 kg, I would say a bit of a letdown score-wise, 190 to 235. But we'll go ahead and try to take him, and unless maybe it ends up being a bad shot with a cable back, it'll probably be our last kill. We didn't have to go that far, but it was a slow track, kind of crawling along, trying to keep up and not spook him through some of the reeds on the beach and such. Looks like he's going to stop there. I thought he was. He was about to when we took the shot, but still managed to drop him and bring him down. So it was nice to get out here to another map. Unfortunately, outside of what was, I think, a 315 bowl, nothing really to speak of. But it's always good, I think, to kind of get a change of scenery. We've been spending a lot of time on Red Feather and Settlers Desert late, so just seeing some different country and some different species is always nice. And anyway, that is going to do it for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.